Does it actually show we're live on Rumble now?
Yes, I'm on there.
Let's see. Yeah, there we go. There's the stream, there's the live chat, and looks like it's all going good now. Hallelujah. Alright. We solved that issue. Just had to pretty much just shut down the stream, restart it, and frame rates were back to where they should be. I don't know what was causing it, but it's fixed. That's what matters. So let's go back to that first tab. We went through all the tabs. See if there was something that was just sucking up data. There wasn't anything. Chrissy. Oh, kick her out of your lap. That's an option. We got our daughter sitting in her lap because she just has to be in her lap for some reason for all of this. So, some of the big news over this last week. The United States Supreme Court made a decision in Louisiana versus SCOTUS. The Supreme Court struck down Louisiana's congressional map that included 2 majority black districts, ruling it an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. Basically, you can't use race as your primary reason for designing or drawing up a district. So some people call it bad, some people like us will call it good, because we shouldn't be looking at race, because quite frankly it's like a black guy and a white guy who are neighbors who live down near the coast of Alabama, which if you know Alabama, it's only a little bit there that's in the coast. They're going to have a whole lot more in common with each other than people up in Mobile, Alabama. So a bunch of redistricting is going to be happening because states are going to take advantage of this now, because the other side of the coin here is that there are a lot of districts that exist mainly because they were kind of forced to do it by previous administrations.
Yeah, because they wanted to put all the blacks together, and that's
well, it wasn't really. That's the thing. It wasn't really so much that they're black. It was that they're using the racial line specifically to create extra Democrat districts. So now it's been opened back up. Effectively, the can of worms has been opened. Granted, the can of worms was opened a long time ago because of Democrat gerrymandering. Because you can go look up at New England has like anywhere between 43 or 38 to 48% Republican, but yet there's 0 Republican congressmen from there, even though there are some of the states that are almost half Republican. And it's all just because of gerrymandering just to get rid of Republican votes in Congress. And so Democrats are complaining about Republicans doing it, but it's like all we're doing is playing by their rules. The rules they set a long time ago that gerrymandering for your cause is okay as long as you're doing it and not the other guy. So we start playing by their rules, and now all of a sudden they get upset. So that was the U.S. Supreme Court that made that decision, so that's going to affect a lot of states. I think it was hit up that next tab. So we got that tab there. It's basically a rough example of what it will end up looking like. So the South will go much redder if all the states redistrict. And many of these states are already in the process of redistricting. So you're looking at 12 seats swinging to the Republicans over this. And that's just this section. That's not including other states that will possibly redistrict. And there will be some states that the Trump administration, they could sue and force them to redistrict because these are states that were gerrymandered specifically over racial lines. And so you could see in some northern states, Republican seats be opened up.
Like what kind of states are you thinking?
Mostly like New England, for example, where I said they already have 0 Republican seats, period.
True.
They might do that. Illinois has a huge black population. But yet, even then, though, a lot of these states have very little actual Republican representatives. Same thing, I think, with Minnesota is one of those cases as well. So we might see more seats open up. This is just showing just the South. So let's go ahead and hit that next tab while we're talking about redistricting.
Okay.
Virginia Democrats are going to be appealing their state Supreme Court decision to the United States Supreme Court. I guess they weren't happy with their own state Supreme Court making a ruling inside their own damn state. So scroll on down.
Yeah, but I pointed something out to you earlier when I was hearing.
What was that?
I pointed something out to you earlier about what's going on here, why it makes sense that they did this.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get into that because it talks about it here in the article. So here's some of the this is Washington, Channel 4. Looks like it's a CBS, or is that CBS, the Peacock, or is that MSNBC? One of the retards.
I think it's
It's an affiliate channel.
So MSNBC.
There it is, NBC. Yeah. So these guys, this is to show some of their bias. So you look at the top there, it's voter-approved Democratic congressional redistricting.
But it wasn't only barely approved, barely liked by the people there in Virginia.
Doesn't really matter.
I know.
This is their bias. Virginia Supreme Court on Friday struck down a voter-approved Democratic congressional redistricting plan. They do this at the very top because most people won't really read further down. But even not that further down, you go down, and there it is in red. The Virginia Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that the state's Democratic-led legislator violated procedural requirements when it placed the constitutional amendment on the ballot to authorize mid-decade redistricting. Voters narrowly approved the amendment, so not even like massively popular, April 21st. But the court's ruling renders the vote's results meaningless. Scroll back up. There was another thing I had highlighted right there. So Democrats led by House Speaker Don Scott and Attorney General Jay Jones filed a motion late Friday afternoon asking the state Supreme Court to pause its ruling from taking effect while they appeal for an emergency hearing before the U.S. Supreme Court. And honestly, it's like, what is the U.S. Supreme Court going to do? If the state Supreme Court is right that they've violated procedural requirements for this, all the Supreme Court's going to do is basically just look at the state constitution and be like, yeah, the state Supreme Court was right. Like, they're there to enforce the federal constitution. The federal constitution says that the legislator has power over elections. Well, the legislator is the one who helped create this damn state constitution that they were trying to amend to allow them to do mid-decade redistricting. So it's like, what are you gonna do? You violated your own state constitution. What's the Supreme Court gonna do? I don't even think they're gonna hear it. I think the Supreme Court's just gonna be like, no, sorry. We don't care about this. This is an internal issue in your state.
And I'll just say, please refer back to your constitution for your state.
They might even just quickly say, we defer to the state Supreme Court on state constitution issues. And who knows, they could actually immediately give a unanimous decision on it too.
Well, because they can't interfere. It's the state's constitution. It's not between different states.
They can interfere if they actually see a serious issue.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is this is the internal politics of Virginia and how it works and their state and how their state constitution functions. I don't see how the federal court will even find a way to get involved in it, but we'll see. Yep. So the violation irreparably undermines the integrity of the resulting referendum vote and renders it null and void.
And this was justice?
Yeah. Of the Supreme Court, that was a statement about it. Basically, they're saying this is an unprecedented thing, going about it this way, violating the process of the Constitution. Mm-hmm. So scroll on down. One person was saying, huge win for the Republican Party and America in Virginia. Keep scrolling. So that's For that right there, it's a little video. We don't have to watch it, but it just shows a map. This is the redistricting map they had planned. And so you can see where I served my mission for the church up there in the northern part of Virginia, pretty much. Bring your mouse down a little bit more. Oh, not too far. That's about Richmond up there. Keep going up, left. No, to the center of that. Down a little bit. Right there. That's pretty much like where the bottom of my mission was. I believe that's right close to Spotsylvania County. And so it's like, and you look at all those districts. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 districts that all swoop right up there into the Fairfax County area. All just to get the Democrat votes they need to dilute all those rural conservative areas, just so that way they can get extra Democrat seats. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it is the game. I'm not going to fault them for doing it, but I'm happy our side's winning, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Let's roll on down. Did we get anything else highlighted down here, or is that pretty much it? I don't think I went any further for the most part. Oh, no, there it is. The state Supreme Court's majority was critical of the state's redrawing of the congressional maps to benefit one political party. Those justices noted that 47% of the state's voters supported GOP congressional candidates in 2024. But the new map could result in Democrats making up 91% of the state's House delegation. So, there you have it, pretty much. I mean, call it right, call it wrong. I don't really care. This is what politics is. This is how the frickin' sausage is made in American politics.
And
it's ugly. No one likes it.
This kind of explains in their Constitution how they're supposed to go about this and how they violated it. Mm-hmm.
Because the state's redistricting commission was established by a voter-approved constitutional amendment, lawmakers had to propose an amendment to redraw the districts. That required approval of a resolution in 2 separate legislative sessions with a state election sandwiched in between to place the amendment on the ballot. So basically how it works is you go and you get the voter initiative or the amendment approved by the voters and by the state legislator.
Well, in the legislature first.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter. It gets approved in the legislature at the very least. Then you have to have an election, and then the next legislator has to approve of it. And so it guarantees effectively, hey, just in case there's a major swing in politics over this issue, and there's a big switch up in the legislator, if the legislator before and after this gets approved both like it, hey, it's probably a good amendment to push through.
And then the voters can vote.
Yeah, it's not actually a bad way to do it, honestly. If you're going to do an amendment process in a state, that's really actually not a bad way to do it.
You have to force them to keep control and keep power, but then also you have to have the public approve of the amendment.
Yeah, so effectively what it was is they did not have... They got it approved, and then they went and redistricted, and then tried to use the new district maps in this current election that's happening this year. Instead of having this election and then approving the new congressional map or the amendment to do the new congressional map in the next legislative session. So that's pretty much what freaking happened there. And so Virginia State Court basically saved Republicans in Virginia and saved the Republicans 4 seats in Congress for the most part. So props to them. Good news for us. Yeah. Hoping to help. Historically, the the party in power in the presidency typically loses seats in Congress. So yeah, it's how it is in the midterms. So even if we can not lose seats or at least not lose the majority, it's a big win for the most part, historically at least. So let's hit up that next tab. Let's move along to the next thing. I can't remember if this is the same issue. It's not. I decided to keep this one because it's funny. and sad.
Well, it shows that elections will be violated by people that there's
So
not
you know
election
how they
integrity.
said the 2020 election was the most secure election in American history? That was horseshit. We all knew it was crap, but I mean, we just got more proof that it was crap. So yes, a Pakistani citizen living in Pakistan voted in California's 2020 election. Here's the rest of the story.
Debatable. His brother is the one who possibly cast the vote, so we can't fully 100% guarantee it, but he did register his brother that is in Pakistan.
Trump won't be sending like Delta Force or something to abduct him from Pakistan anytime soon. Bring him into New York to face charges. So, a county sheriff, I believe this is, yes, had said you're able to register and cast a vote if you don't live in the country. So that was apparently something going viral for a little bit, at least in their more local area there in California. Scroll on down, we got more on this. This is interesting. Keep going. Go back to the highlights. All the way down. There we go. Whole bunch of bullet points to go through here. During a raid at Khan's home in October 2020, and on unrelated charges, officials observed a stash of 41 sealed and completed mail ballots for the 2020 presidential election. Due to California's ballot harvesting laws, the ballots were not seized, but investigators photographed the ballots and documented their findings. In the fall of 2021, officials noticed 70 people were registered to vote at one address in Lodi, if that's how it's pronounced, which they recognized as Khan's. So, investigators caught this other detail, recognized the address as Khan, so they're like, oh, well, maybe we should look at it further. Sheriff's investigation determined that Khan had used the state's online voter registration system to re-register existing California voters from their districts from other districts to his address. Scroll on down. I can't see with the mic there. And at least a few non-citizens living in foreign countries, including his brother in Pakistan, to vote using his address, email address, or phone number. Investigators reviewed the ballot return envelopes from ballots cast in 2020 general election, which had been maintained by the register, and found that many of those tied to Khan's addresses all had the same handwriting on the outside. In October 2022, officials found